They don't want you to see this. They don't want you to hear these words, because once you do, fear will lose its power over you forever. This is not just another video. This isn't random. You didn't find this. It found you. For thousands of years, this knowledge was buried, hidden beneath the sands of Egypt, locked away in temples where only the high priests were allowed to enter, because what I'm about to reveal to you was never meant for the public. This is Thoth's forbidden code, a sequence of words and symbols so powerful that the ancient priests swore an oath to protect it at all costs. Why? Because Thoth understood something terrifying. Fear is the key. Control fear, and you control people. Break fear, and no one can ever control you again. And that's why this was hidden from the world for centuries. That's why you were never taught this in school. That's why they don't want you here, listening right now. But there's something else, something most people will never know. The code wasn't meant for everyone. It wasn't written for the crowds. It was written for the few, the seekers, the ones who are ready to wake up from the illusion. And if you're hearing these words right now, it means you were chosen. Chosen to remember who you really are. Chosen to destroy the chains that have kept you small, scared and silent. Chosen to reclaim the part of you that fear has been hiding. But I must warn you, once you hear this code, you cannot unhear it. Once you understand it, there is no going back. Your mind, your body, your very sense of reality will shift. So take a deep breath, center yourself, and listen closely, because what I'm about to share with you is the most powerful secret Thoth ever left behind. Stay until the end, because once you learn this, fear will never control you again. The hidden truth about fear. Thoth believes something most people will never understand. Fear isn't real, not in the way you think, not in the way you've been taught. To Thoth, fear was the shadow of thought, a trick your mind plays on itself. It doesn't come from reality. It doesn't come from danger. It comes from you, from imagination. He taught that almost all fear is born in the space between what is and what might happen. It's not the storm outside that terrifies you. It's the story you've built inside your head about what the storm could do. Read that again. It's never the thing itself, it's the meaning you give to it. This is why Thoth called fear the great illusion, because the danger is rarely real. Only the thought of danger is, and here's where it gets deeper. Thoth warned that fear has been weaponized for thousands of years. The moment you learn that fear lives in the mind, you cannot be controlled anymore. And that's exactly why they never wanted you to know this. Think about it. From the day you were born, the world has been programming you. Be careful, play safe, don't fail, stay small. They never teach you how to master fear, because fear masters you. Every advertisement, every headline, every breaking news alert, they're all designed to trigger you, to keep you stressed, to keep you dependent, to keep you afraid, because when you're afraid, you're easy to control. A fearful mind doesn't think clearly. It reacts, it obeys, it follows the herd, and Thoth warned us thousands of years ago. The man who bows to fear bows to illusion, and the one who conquers it conquers himself. But here's the thing they don't teach you. Your brain was never designed to eliminate fear. It was designed to protect you from danger. Your ancient survival system, the amygdala, fires up whenever it senses risk, even if no real danger exists. That's why your heart races when you imagine rejection. That's why your stomach turns when you think about failure. That's why your hands shake before you speak in public. Your brain doesn't know the difference between a real threat and an imagined one. And this is where Thoth wisdom becomes revolutionary. He taught that if you can control the thoughts that create fear, you can control fear itself. Read that again. Let it sink in. It's not about fighting fear. It's about understanding its source. It's about realizing that fear isn't outside you. It's inside you. And if it's inside you, you have the power to dismantle it. This is why Thoth's forbidden code is so powerful. It bypasses years of programming, shuts down the chaos in your mind, and reconnects you to the stillness beneath the storm. Because the truth is, you are not your thoughts, you are not your fear, you are the awareness watching it all happen. And once you understand this, truly understand it, your mind begins to reprogram itself. The storm can rage, the noise can rise, but deep beneath it all, you discover a stillness that cannot be touched. And from that stillness, you become unshakable. This is the truth they tried to hide from you. This is the key the priests buried in temples beneath the desert sands. Because when fear dies, control dies with it. And that's why in the next part, I'll reveal to you the forbidden code, the exact sequence of words Thoth left behind to erase fear from your mind. But remember this before we continue. Fear was never your enemy. It was only a shadow, and shadows only exist where there is light. The discovery of Thoth's code. The story begins in the heart of the Egyptian desert, where the sun burns the sand into glass, and the wind carries whispers from civilizations long forgotten. For centuries, explorers, scholars, and seekers have searched for Thoth's secrets. Most returned with nothing but dust and silence, because what they were looking for was never meant to be found. And yet, nearly 100 years ago, a team of archaeologists stumbled upon something strange. A sealed chamber beneath the ruins of an ancient temple in Hermopolis, a place once known as the city of Thoth. Inside, there were no treasures, no gold, no jewels, only a single stone tablet, hidden beneath layers of carved sandstone, buried so deep it looked as though the priests had tried to erase it from history itself. The tablet was etched with symbols unlike anything ever seen before. Not hieroglyphs, not language, but something else. Geometric patterns, circles within circles, a spiral of sacred shapes surrounding 4 ancient words. Words so strange that the scholars didn't dare translate them at first. But here's where the mystery deepens. Alongside the tablet, they discovered a warning carved into the walls of the chamber. It read, "Only the one who conquers fear shall hear the voice of the gods. Speak not the code before the unready, lest the chaos consume them." It terrified them, because it suggested this wasn't just a teaching. It wasn't a philosophy. It was a key, a mental trigger, powerful enough to shatter the illusion of fear itself. And suddenly, everything began to make sense. The priests didn't hide this knowledge to protect people. They hid it to control them. Because Thoth wasn't just a god of wisdom, he was a rebel, a teacher who wanted humanity to awaken. He believed that once a person transcends fear, they cannot be ruled, they cannot be manipulated, and they cannot be broken. This made his teachings dangerous, not to the people, but to the systems built on control and obedience. And so, the ancient priests buried the code. They erased its existence from scrolls, burned its symbols from temple walls, and swore an oath never to speak of it again. But they couldn't erase everything. Over centuries, fragments of Thoth's writings were smuggled through secret societies, hidden in underground chambers, and whispered among mystics who understood the power of the code. It became known as the sequence of stillness, a set of words designed to unlock a higher state of awareness. Fast forward to today. After decades of research and translation, scholars finally uncovered what Thoth left behind, a single activation code, a phrase designed to rewire the mind and dissolve fear at its very source. And in a moment, I'm going to share it with you. But understand this before we continue. This isn't something to take lightly. This isn't just positive thinking. It's not a mantra. It's an ancient mental technology, because once you activate it, your relationship with fear will never be the same again. The control they've had over you for your entire life, through fear, anxiety, and uncertainty, collapses. That's why they tried to bury it. That's why they tried to keep it hidden. That's why you were never supposed to hear this today. And yet, here you are, listening, ready. Because maybe, just maybe, you were meant to take a deep breath, quiet your mind, and prepare yourself. Because next, I'm going to reveal the exact 4 words that Thoth left behind, the code that will allow you to erase fear from your mind forever. The code itself, 4 powerful words. Thoth never believed fear was something to fight or overcome. To him, fear was an illusion, a mental shadow created by your perception of danger, not the danger itself. The real prison isn't the event you fear, it's the meaning you give it. For centuries, scholars searched for his teachings on how to dissolve fear completely. Hidden deep within his emerald tablets, researchers uncovered a strange passage, cryptic, almost poetic, and in it, they found 4 words that Thoth called the divine reset. These 4 words are not a prayer, they're not an affirmation, they're not positive thinking, they're a command. A switch that forces your mind to let go of fear instantly and return to absolute clarity. Here's the code. I return to source. Read that again, slowly. I return to source. When you speak these words with full presence, your nervous system responds instantly. Your body recognizes a truth your conscious mind has forgotten. You are not separate from life itself. You're connected to something infinite, eternal, unshaken. Fear cannot survive in that awareness. Why this works? Modern neuroscience is finally catching up to Thoth wisdom. When you're afraid, your brain's amygdala hijacks your thinking, flooding your body with stress hormones. But when you repeat the code, I return to source, something incredible happens. Your attention shifts from the imagined threat to your center. The prefrontal cortex, the rational part of your brain, regains control. Your body exits fight or flight mode and enters calm, grounded awareness. You're not fighting fear anymore. You're dissolving it, because fear can't exist when you remember who you really are. How to use it? The power of the code lies in its simplicity. But Thoth warned, you must feel the words, not just say them. When panic rises in your chest, whisper, I return to source. When doubt whispers in your mind, close your eyes and breathe, I return to source. When life feels overwhelming and chaotic, ground yourself, I return to source. Each time you do, you're sending a signal to your entire being. I am safe, I am connected, I am unshaken. And the more you practice, the more automatic it becomes. Fear stops running the show. Thoth warning. But there's something else Thoth wrote, a warning carved into the very same tablet. Those who cling to fear cling to illusion, and those who cling to illusion will be ruled by it. The code is not magic. If you say the words without belief, nothing changes. You must remember the truth they point to, that no matter what chaos surrounds you, your essence, your source, remains untouchable. These 4 words are more than a mantra. They're a doorway back to who you truly are. Once you experience it, fear will never have the same power over you again. The forbidden warning. They never wanted you to know this. For thousands of years, entire empires have risen and fallen. Kings crowned, kingdoms burned, and civilizations erased. But one thing has remained constant, the system of fear. Fear is control, fear is obedience, and fear is currency. Thoth understood this thousands of years ago. He knew that if humanity discovered the true code of the mind, the one you're learning right now, everything would collapse. Governments, religions, secret orders, power structures, all of them depend on one thing, keeping you afraid. This is why Thoth's code was hidden, buried under cryptic hieroglyphs and locked away in secret texts, guarded by those who swore an oath to protect it, not for you, but from you. Because once you understand this, once you see fear for what it truly is, you become uncontrollable. Why they erased the knowledge. Imagine this, if even 1% of humanity knew they could erase fear from their minds, the entire world would look different. Wars wouldn't work anymore, because fear of death wouldn't control soldiers. Propaganda would fail, because fear-based manipulation would lose its power. Religions would change, because fear of punishment and judgment would no longer enslave minds. Economies would crumble, because fear of scarcity drives consumption, debt, and control. They knew this, and so, across history, knowledge like Thoth's was erased, altered, and rewritten. Books burned, scrolls hidden, temples destroyed. Every time humanity got too close to awakening, the gatekeepers stepped in. But they couldn't destroy everything. They couldn't destroy the whispers, the symbols, the fragments left behind, and those fragments are what survived to reach you. The ancient secret orders. Some believe Thoth's teachings were stolen by secret brotherhoods, groups that learned the code, used it, and then weaponized it against the rest of humanity. They learned that if you make people believe their fear is real, you don't need chains to enslave them. They'll build the prison around themselves. Look around. The modern world is designed to feed your fear every single day. Fear of missing out, fear of judgment, fear of being broke, fear of failure, fear of being alone. Every news headline, every algorithm, every marketing campaign. They've turned your nervous system into a puppet, and fear is the string they pull. Thoth saw this coming, and that's why he left his code behind. Because once you apply it, once you reprogram your mind, their power over you dissolves. The dangerous side of awakening. But here's the paradox, and the reason this knowledge stayed hidden. Once fear dies, you no longer fit into the system. You stop reacting the way they expect you to. You stop being predictable. You stop buying into illusions that have trapped billions for centuries. That's dangerous, not to you, but to them. And here's the real forbidden warning. When you awaken, the system notices. You'll start to see patterns others don't. You'll sense manipulation where others see truth. And once you unplug from fear, people still trapped in it might turn against you. This isn't for the faint-hearted. This is why Thoth's code was never meant for the masses. It's a key, but a key only works for someone ready to open the door. Why you're here, if you're watching this right now, you need to understand something. This message didn't find you by accident. The code has survived thousands of years, hidden in symbols, protected by silence, waiting for seekers, not spectators. And now, it has reached you because something inside you is ready to break free. You are standing where billions never stood, at the edge of the veil. Once you cross, there's no going back. Because when fear dies, you awaken. And when you awaken, the system loses you forever. This is why they tried to bury Thoth's teachings. This is why they still bury them today. The question is, are you ready to see? 7. The awakening. Imagine, for a moment, a life where fear no longer rules you. No more racing heartbeat when you speak your truth. No more hesitation when you're about to make a bold move. No more nights lying awake, trapped in an endless loop of what-ifs. This is not a fantasy. This is the reality that Thoth promised, the awakening. Once you apply the 4 words of his code, something begins to shift deep within you. It's subtle at first, like a small crack in a wall you've built around yourself for years. But then, the light comes in. You start noticing that your reactions to life change. The storm is still there, but you are no longer tossed around by it. People around you panic, complain, and spiral into anxiety, but you remain calm. Why? Because you finally understand the truth. Thoth hid in plain sight. Fear was never an enemy. Fear was an illusion, a shadow you fed with your own mind. The silence within. When the code unlocks, something almost supernatural happens, not outside of you, but inside. You begin to hear a kind of silence. The voice of fear, once loud and chaotic, starts to dissolve, and in that silence, something far more powerful emerges. Clarity. Suddenly, the decisions that once terrified you no longer control you. You speak without second-guessing. You walk without overthinking. You act without doubting your worth. You realize that your entire life up until this moment was ruled by invisible chains. Chains forged from childhood fears, social expectations, and old wounds you never healed. Thoth's code doesn't fight those chains, it dissolves them. Because fear cannot exist where there is understanding. The return of power. Do you know why? Fear controls most people. Because they give it permission to. Thoth understood this thousands of years ago. He knew that when the human mind believes a threat is real, the body responds. Faster heartbeats, shallow breathing, frozen limbs. It's survival mode. But in today's world, most of our fears are imaginary. Rejection, failure, judgment. These aren't predators, they're shadows. When you integrate the code, something profound happens. You take back all the power you've given away. You stop negotiating with fear. You stop seeking permission to exist. You stop waiting for the right time to become who you were meant to be. And when that happens, the world begins to respond to you differently. Opportunities start appearing where before there were only obstacles. People are drawn to your presence without understanding why. Your calmness, your certainty, your lack of hesitation, it makes you magnetic. You no longer chase life, you command it. A different version of you. Close your eyes and imagine this. The version of you that has already awakened. This version of you speaks without filtering every word, loves without the fear of being left, acts without needing approval, moves through challenges without collapsing. This is not a new you. This is the real you, the one buried beneath years of programming and fear-based conditioning. Thoth's code doesn't give you something external, it returns what was always yours, your sovereignty. The final realization. Here's the greatest paradox Thoth revealed. You were never supposed to kill fear. You were supposed to transcend it. Fear isn't evil. It isn't trying to destroy you. It's a signal, a whisper from your mind saying, step into the unknown. Grow here. Expand here. When you truly awaken, you no longer run from fear. You walk toward it. And as you do, it dissolves, like fog under the morning sun. And in that moment, you understand what Thoth really left behind. The key was never to escape fear. The key was to remember that you were never trapped. This is awakening. This is freedom. This is the life you were always meant to live, the one-time transformation. Imagine this for a moment. From this point forward, fear no longer owns you. Not because you fought it, not because you ran from it, but because you decoded it. Thoth's ancient message wasn't about magic, religion, or ritual. It was about memory. He knew something modern science is only now beginning to understand. The mind obeys the words you give it. Every time you whispered the code, every time you reminded yourself, I am safe, I am now, I am free, I am more, you weren't chanting ancient poetry. You were reprogramming your neural pathways, deleting the old commands installed by fear, doubt, and control, and replacing them with something infinitely stronger. But here's the twist. Most people will never realize Thoth never designed this code for everyone. He designed it for seekers, people like you, people willing to break away from the crowd and remember what humanity has forgotten. Because look around you, the world is addicted to fear. Governments, media, corporations, they profit when you're afraid. Fear keeps you obedient, fear keeps you scrolling, fear keeps you quiet, and yet, in a single decision, you've stepped outside the system. You've remembered the secret they tried to erase. You are not your fear, you are the one watching your fear. That shift changes everything. The moment you truly see it, life moves differently. Opportunities appear where before you saw dead ends. Conversations deepen. Your energy stops leaking into anxiety and finally flows into creation. For the first time, you feel the calm silence beneath all the noise. And here's what's beautiful. You only need to watch this once. Why? Because your subconscious has already recorded it. The words have sunk into the hidden layers of your mind, where fear once lived. Every time you catch yourself hesitating, doubting, panicking, your system will remember the code. Your breathing will slow, your heart will stabilize, your thoughts will realign, and you'll step forward without hesitation. But there's something else you must understand. This video isn't just for you. If you keep it to yourself, the code dies with you. If you share it, you keep Thoth's message alive, a ripple of seekers, awakening one by one, dismantling the invisible chains of fear that have bound humanity for thousands of years. So ask yourself this, will you keep living the way they programmed you, or will you finally choose freedom? Remember this, fear isn't real, it's a story your mind tells you, and you are not the story. Let that sink in, breathe, feel the shift in your chest right now. That's freedom taking root, and when you're ready, really ready, step back into your life with this knowledge. Nothing has power over you anymore. Not the past, not the future, not even the illusion of fear. You've seen the code, you've activated it. Now, live it.